Hey everyone, quick little announcement here for Fishing the DMV. I just want to let you know the reason we're able to produce so much content and stay up on all the late breaking stories like what's going on the Potomac River with the sewage spill is because of donations from Patreon club members. This show is for the people and by the people, and it wasn't for all of my supporters on Patreon, none of this really would be possible. For $8 a month, you can help keep the show alive, and I need your help. We need more supporters in 2026 to help keep everything going. All Patreon supporters will receive 20% off their orders to Tactical Fishing Company, 15% off their orders to Super Blue Stuff, some of the best pain relieving cream on the market, 10% off their orders to Tiger Crankbaits, 5% off their orders to Jake's Bait and Tackle. You'll get access to our members only Facebook group. You'll get access to ad-free episodes of the show, members only content that's exclusive to you guys, Patreon member giveaways, and of course, access to our 4-month-long fishing tournaments that we have through 2026. You get all this, and you get to help this show continue in 2026. Link in the episode description down below. Thank you so much.
You're listening to Fishing the DMV with your host, Thomas Ahrens. Fishing the DMV is brought to you by Jake's Bait and Tackle, located in Winchester, Virginia, Tactical Fishing Company, and Fishing ProTech, located just outside Williamsburg, Virginia.
If that doesn't get you jacked up, I don't know what will.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Fishing the DMV. I'm your host, Thomas Ahrens, and today I have on Clark and I have on Scott Broom of the Fishtag. We're going to be talking about the Upper Potomac River smallmouth fishing. So first off, guys, I want to kind of let you guys introduce yourself to the world. So Scott, I'll let you go first.
Okay, Thomas, thanks. Scott Broom. I'm the Director of Development and Outreach for Fishtagged.org. And some of your viewers might know that I used to be a news reporter on Channel 9 down in Washington, covered the environment and anything else that happened, like the murder of the day. But anyway, snowstorms, we were big on that on TV. But anyway, I'm involved in this Fishtag project that we'll talk about shortly.
Yeah, and then I'm Clark. I've been on. I think I was on last year talking about fish tagged a little bit. I'm a tagger, so I'm one of the guys out on the water putting tags in fish, and then I'm also taking on some of the social media responsibilities for this year. So, Scott, you want to get going on what we're all about?
Yeah, sure. Okay. So listen, Fishtag.org is a pretty core group of anglers who have been tagging smallmouth bass primarily in the Potomac it's been 5 years now. It's DNR permitted. It's not a DNR project, it's our project, but DNR gives us a permit. And the point of it is to create a data set that's available. Like Thomas, you talked about being on the Black Bass Commission. It's available to the Black Bass Commission. It's available to DNR and state agencies. It's available to kids in high school who want to do science projects. It's available to researchers. And we've created this data set. There are more than 3,000 tags in the river right now, just with this core group of anglers who've been putting tags in fish. It's been kind of a beta project for a lot of these years. As I said, DNR permitted. And this year, we've got some real cool people like Clark working with it. It's gelled, and we're coming out of beta this year. And we want people to know these tags are in the river. We know, Thomas, you've been in a boat when a tag fish has come in, and people look at these tags and they go, what are they? Is this some kind of DNR thing, or what is it? Should we report this thing? We want the angling community to know these tags are in the river, and when they find them, report them, because it adds to this data set that's just got a huge amount of value. An important thing I want to mention about the data set is it's not just tagging information, right? Every time a fish is tagged, it comes in, particularly if a photograph comes in with the fish. Well, that photograph comes in with geographic data, time, date, place, and we overlay that with all of the river gauge data that's available. So temperature, turbidity, river level, meteorological data from NOAA, and it's all overlaid so that science folks who are looking at this stuff can see river conditions when fish are caught. when fish are recaptured, where they're recaptured, how conditions may or may not have affected that. We don't know. We're not scientists, but it's become a pretty powerful data set, and that's what it's all about. The final thing I want to mention is that it's also a STEM science project for a lot of students. Right now, mostly kids in Montgomery County are doing it. We hope to expand that dramatically, but our data, being involved with creating it, being involved with creating the architecture, including an app which we'll be rolling out shortly. It's all been designed by student interns who are achieving academic credit. A couple of these students are at University of Maryland with a significant resume already of essentially creating a natural resources app. And we've got students on the river helping us with the tagging effort and everything else. So this is the year where it goes from the core group of people who've been putting tags in fish with the DNR permit to Thomas, you, anybody in your audience, anybody who catches fish begins to participate in this now by reporting the tags in, and we'll probably talk about how you can do that as we move on here.
Cool. What is your story? How do you go from the news to tagging fish in your retirement, I guess? Like,
yeah, I retired.
Yeah, paint this picture.
Well, listen, I was a TV guy, but I also kind of like in the summer, despite being married and having some adult kids and a dog and a normal life, I'm just on the river, man. I just love the river. I sleep out on the river probably 3 nights a month in the summer. Duck hunt, turkey hunt, fish. It's just a place I love, me and the dog. My wife, not so much anymore. She's like, I'm not sleeping on these islands anymore. Cut that out. Right. But, I'm a natural resources type, like we all are here. And so I got into that. I was an environmental reporter at WUSA 9. I mean, that translated to my role in the media early in my career and late in my career. In the middle, it was hurricanes and, the state house and following governors and stuff like that. And then, so as part of that, I was down at Fletcher's, this guy, Mike Bailey. Okay. He's on an organization called Friends of Fletcher's Cove. They're real big on shad and public access at Fletcher's, and it's a really important organization. It's doing a lot of good work with the National Park Service, rehabbing Fletcher's. And Mike calls me up and invites me down to see the striper run and fish for shad and do a TV story about what they're doing at Fletcher's. And I fall in with this guy, and before you know it, we're fishing together, right? And then Mike runs into Clark, and so there's this character, Mike Bailey, and the guy is like this, so turns out he tags everything. He tags monarch butterflies. And he's a very successful, also retired individual, a very successful guy. And one of many ventures in his life was a weather data project that was run through schools and public source in the early days of the internet, when that was kind of really cool. The first iteration of it was called WeatherBug, and it became a very, very successful app. And it was all about data. And he's all about data. Clark, would you agree? He's all about data.
Yeah. I mean, he's just talk to the guy. He's like, and he's going to spit at you an encyclopedia. And we were talking today. He'll pull up the USGS water gauges, and he'll be like, "Oh, you see this here? You see this here? That was an ice dam, and it came through, and you can see the water level change." And so, yeah, he's
so you go to Bailey's house, and he's got a collection of antique barometers, and he writes the information down every time. So Mike was the guy who originally started tagging fish, but Mike is also a real social, really cool guy, knows a lot of people. A lot of people fish with Mike. Mike's on a river 5 days a week. And Mike's the guy who first started tagging fish, and I realized, hey, this is a data set. And then Clark.
What year, if you could timestamp this, like just roughly?
5 years ago is the first tag that went in a fish.
Okay.
So,
but it really ramped up in the last 2 years with the addition of people like Clark. And I don't tag that much. I mean, I'm so busy goofing around my boat and trying to fix the last time I whacked the mud motor prop on a bot. I spend more time on the river dicking around than I do fishing. but I am a tagger as well.
Yeah, I think.
I've
Oh, sorry.
Go, Clark.
One of the other things I just wanted to say about the project is it's kind of one of those things where it's like an opportunity for us as fishermen to put our money where our mouth is, and instead of just complaining about the fishing conditions, now we as a core group have been going out there and trying to actually make an impact in conserving this river, and like this is a citizen science project, so we're inviting you guys to engage as well. And we're rolling out a rewards program this spring to thank you. You give us report a fish to us, give us little information so that we can help the state conserve this resource, and we're sending out gift cards and stuff like that.
What is, because as a wise man said, there's overlap between the world's smartest bear and the dumbest human. What is citizen science? Just so you can explain it for everybody.
Yeah, so citizen science is just everyday people engaging in a scientific process. So like, I think there's like this whole gatekeeping thing around science where it's like, oh, this only happens in academic areas or in universities and colleges, state agencies and things like that. But there is a way for you to still engage in scientific processes outside of those fields. So it's really trying to instill curiosity in people and take interest in things that you care about as well.
And Thomas and Clark, that was an awesome explanation. That's exactly like hits a nail on the head. And Thomas, you probably know there was lots of citizen science out there occurring, and like Potomac Riverkeeper Network has a network of volunteers. They do the bacteriological sampling in the river and the monocacy up and down. There's an organization called Save Our Streams, which educates volunteers to go out and do invertebrate studies. So they actually keep track of the aquatic bugs and insects, which are real important indicators. They create a database. So there's lots of citizen input. I mean, I know DNR would love to have a funded study on all of this stuff all the time. The reality is they can't, and this is a way to, contribute to that. Why? Because we all like to fish, right? We love the resource. We literally love the place. And
you hit on something else. It's the idea of gatekeeping. It made sense 10, 20, 30 years ago, but now the bureaucracy is so big, it's a glacier that nothing can get accomplished. This is where citizen science is important, because there's so many things that could be accomplished when you activate the public, activate people that are passionate about whatever it is. I see this with forestry and stuff like that, where they want to do more studies in some of these parks. And it's like, just get the volunteers to go do it. There are a ton of people that would love to help you. So yeah, dude, it's fascinating.
It's important to that. Listen, science is science, right? It has to meet minimum, actually maximum standards of accuracy and everything else. And that's why the group of taggers is relatively small, operating under a DNR permit, right? So that we're trained, we're collecting data in the way that makes sense to them, because data is just noise if it doesn't match a profile. But Thomas, your point is exactly accurate. That, it's a new world, right? Lots of people can flex technology tools that we all have access to really do interesting and good things. Like I'm at a boat ramp frequently in the summer, more down towards the Chesapeake, and I'm approached usually by a graduate student with a clipboard who's doing a DNR angler survey. And so DNR puts a lot of time and effort into collecting information from anglers. An angler survey costs them a ton of dough. We're providing angler survey data, for free out of the blue for them.
It's just finding different ways to look at the problem and solve it. I know last year Virginia actually used kayak tournament data for certain bodies of water just to have extra data points, and it was free. It was really easy for them to do.
Right, and the kayak guys are more than glad to give it up, right?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely,
exactly.
One thing I want you to hit the head on is you had to get a permit, just so people to understand the whole structure. You guys just didn't run out there and just start stabbing fish.
Right.
No, it's DNR permitted, although it's not illegal to, this is a public resource, but originally, believe it or not, it's not illegal to tag fish. But listen, we want this thing to be a serious thing, and so yeah, it's got a DNR permit. Again, not a DNR project. They're not telling us what to do, but they permit us, just like you buy a fishing license, like that. The other thing is real important. Is that this is not some kind of like, app where, we're going to sell a membership and you can get on and find out where all the fish are. This is not like some kind of spot burning exercise. That is, if you find a fish this summer and you report this, this is not about burning where you caught the fish, okay? It goes onto a spreadsheet in a scientific database. It's not shared publicly like this is the hot spot kind of thing. And, that's really, really important to us because we want anglers to feel confident that by reporting fish, they're contributing something positive. They're not like burning their spot or whatever. Those of us who've been tagging, like Clark, we already know where we tag the fish. The interesting thing is when you report a tag, and I should probably point out there's a tag right there, and that's there it is. Okay, see that blue tag? So lots and lots of people, we're getting an 11 to 14% return rate. So we know lots of people are touching these fish, and that means a lot more people are touching them and not recording them. When you catch a smallmouth with a tag like that in the Potomac, scratch the algae off, look at it. There's going to be a phone number, a website. There's going to be some information on there, including a tag number, and as you can see, the color of the tag, right? Okay, just follow the prompt. Go through it. Text the number. Hey, I caught this fish at this location, whatever. Go to the website. Shortly, we're going to have an app up. So those of us who really fish on the river a lot and just want to have the app on the phone, you can take a picture of that fish with accurate measurement information and submit the picture through the app. And the data all gets harvested, time, place. So when you catch a fish, look for the tag. Look at the information on the tag. Report the fish. And Clark is about to brief you because when you report a fish, we've got more than a half dozen retailers now who have contributed to providing incentives, basically a prize. You report a fish, you're going to go into a pool at the end of the month, randomly draw names. There's enough prizes in there based on our tag return rate, pretty much. I can't guarantee you're going to win, but we're going to give away a lot of stuff this summer to get people engaged in wanting to report these things. Clark, run that down, will you?
Yeah. So one of the big things also that I just wanted to highlight before we get into the sponsors is just the fact that what an accurate fish measurement looks like to one fisherman to the next is it can be a little bit hairy sometimes, guys arguing fish measurements and everything. So what we're going with is kind of like a kayak tournament standard measurement. Okay. So the mouth closed, tail pinched, trying to get the tail to the longest point possible, that kind of thing. We don't want to see like the mouth open and all this kind of stuff for this information to be useful for the state. We just have to kind of hold ourselves to a standard. So that's kind of that. And that's going to be part of the rewards program too, is like, we need the accurate information. You give the accurate information, you're eligible for a reward. And one of these, or a few of the rewards are, we're giving away Jake's Bait and Tackle gift cards, Fit Lures gift cards, Snagler Tackle is on board. I think there's a couple more, Scott, that you.
Yeah, we got. I think District Anglers is engaged. Hatch Match Baits. This guy makes these incredible plastic baits that are like focused on gobies. Really cool baits, actually. Small little thing. Hatch Match is on board, and the premier stuff. The end of the year, the individuals who report the most fish then go into a pot for eligibility for a grand prize. One of those is going to be a super high-end St. Croix, like Mike and Clark, they won't let me touch their St. Croix rods because I break rods all the time, right? I got a dog in the boat, whatever. But, I mean, a real nice high-end rod and also a Rockfish charter trip. It's, retail value. I don't know what those go for, $500 a man kind of thing.
Yeah.
So there's a grand prize at the end of the year for, and that's likely to be tournament type fishermen who are handling a lot of fish and reporting a lot, sort of familiar with the program. Who are going to be able to do that. There is a way, you can report a fish and opt out.
Yeah, you don't have to win the
only way you win a prize is you provide enough information how we can contact you. So if you don't want that to happen, that's fine. You can still report the fish and opt out.
Yeah, you can report, I think, anonymously as well. Like,
yeah,
we still
exactly.
need information on where it was caught and size, but if you don't want your name to be known to us for whatever reason, that's fine. You can report that way.
Guys, that is so freaking cool. When will the prizes be given away? Just reiterate, for the time limit, when's the deadline for people that want to sign up? Is there a sign up, or when is the deadline for the end of this event?
Yeah, the sign up is essentially just reporting the fish. Just, your name. We need a way to contact you. That way we can send you the prize, because obviously if we don't have anywhere to send the prize to, then you can't get the prize. I think it's we're doing weekly drawing.
Weekly.
So I think you're eligible for one of these smaller prizes. Correct me if I'm wrong, Scott. It's one smaller prize, and then each additional piece of data you give us, you go into the, it increases your odds essentially at the lottery at the end.
Exactly, and on a good month, let's say we have 9 in a good week. Let's say we have 9 people report fish. Oh, well, there are 10 prizes to give away. Gee, randomly drawing, everybody's going to win.
Right.
So, we'd love to have 100 tags a week come in, but the reality is, we're looking at handfuls to dozens per week, and we're going to have handfuls to about a dozen prizes to give away each week. So I think there's a pretty good chance if you report a tag, it's likely you're going to get something nice.
We're also going to try to we're starting a social media account, and we're going to try to get out information out there in case you guys forget, and what to do to report the fish, and then also announce essentially who's winning the prizes and stuff like that. If you don't want to, that's fine too. You just notify us. And
then, guys, of course, I will promote or whatever as the social media gets up and running, and to remind people here with it. Also, I guess I'll do this real quick before we pivot a little bit. We're going to look at this nice fancy website that Clark built. Every angler knows the feeling. Your shoulder burns after a long day of casting. Your lower back and your knees feel super stiff from standing on the front of the boat all day trying to fill out that limit. You love being out on the water, but your body pays the price. That's why I keep Super Blue Stuff roll-ons everywhere I go. Tackle box, truck, home, glove box my boat. I've been using their product since I was young, and the natural pain relief with the emu oil and herbs that works in about 5 minutes. With no harsh chemicals, no strong medical smell, just rub it on and get back to fishing. Spring season is almost here, so stock up now. All Fishing the DMV viewers and listeners will receive free shipping off of their roll-on orders when they use the code FISHING at bluestuff.com/fishing, or you can give them a call at 866-571-BLUE. Again, you can use the website, bluestuff.com/fishing, or call 866-571-BLUE and use the code FISHING. And if you're watching on YouTube, put your phone up to the screen right now and use the QR code, and that'll take you right to the website. Thank you guys so much. I swear by this product, and I think you'll like it too. Tactical Fishing Company is a veteran-owned fishing brand that specializes in soft plastics and hollow body frogs that are designed in-house. They collaborate with anglers across the country, giving you some of the best designs out there. If you haven't checked them out yet, you're really missing out. Their number one selling bait is the MRE, Minnow Ready to Eat Hybrid Swim Bait. It flat out catches fish. Whether you're throwing it on your favorite spinnerbait or bladed jig as a trailer, or using it as a standalone finesse presentation, it's one of those baits you can keep tied on all day and stay confident in. And if you're chasing snakehead, Tactical Fishing Company has you covered. They make some of the most rugged, durable frogs out on the market today, from the Dragon Pop to my personal favorite, the Rizzard. When it's time to try and tame your next dragon, they've got the tools you need to make the day on the water memorable. So go support a veteran-owned business, fish with confidence, and make every cast count. Check out Tactical Fishing Company, link in the episode description down below. All right, guys, I wanted to give a quick shout out to our newest sponsor, Fishing ProTech. They are located outside of Williamsburg, Virginia in Tuano, Virginia. If you're a serious angler, and I'm talking about a serious bass angler, you have got to go check out this shop. They have one of the greatest collections of JDM tackle on the planet. I'm talking Megabass, Depths, IMA, OSP. They got it all. And these are the baits that you're seeing on TV winning all those big tournaments. So if I were you, I would go down there and check it out, pick up the bait that's going to win your next tournament. I'll put a link in the episode description to their Facebook, phone number, and address. Tell them I sent you.
Oh, I didn't build it. No.
Oh, look at me, trying to give you a compliment.
You helped, man. You helped.
Yeah. But I'm not the tech guy. I just want to make that clear. But
So
you picked out the
like
colors.
You showed on the website,
how
right?
it works, though.
Thomas, you showed the website. Fishtag.org or fishtag.com is printed on each and every tag. You can literally go to this website, and there it is right there. You just scrolled up, report a catch. Boom. You can click through. You could do it like that. You can. We're going to have we're coming out of beta, right? So this has worked. It's tested. There's also a phone number on a lot of these tags. You can literally report by text or by phone. Leave a message. Hey, I caught this fish at Dickerson on July 7th, that kind of thing. But there it is. You can see there's the input.
That's cool.
And you submit your tag. And that point, once you've made that submission, you have entered yourself. This is a side feature on the website, which instead of you looking up every darn gauge on the river, we've got them all compiled and they update every 10 seconds.
Look at you. Wow. I know a couple of river Cliff Bennett, if you're listening to this when this uploads, I know you're going to be on this website a lot. That's awesome.
Yeah, you can just instead of going to each gauge, you can just go on our website, click the river conditions tab, and it's all right there.
Thomas, you ever looked into the conditions and what you prefer? Like what condition you prefer based off like turbidity, water level, water temperature, stuff like that? Do you ever do that and kind of hope for the best? Yeah.
As I get older, I'm more hoping for the best than when I was fully autism into tournament fishing.
Oh, dude, I'll sit there and I'll be like, okay, I want the turbidity to be below 20. I want a 4.5 foot river with 43-degree water this weekend, and I'm like sitting there shaking at work trying to get it to all line up.
Well, if you think about it, the problem is if you go down that rabbit hole, you're already going to psych yourself out of a tournament because tournament days, it will literally never be what you want it to be.
No. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, dude, this is fantastic. I cannot believe you got all this stuff on here. I wish every single river had this. This is
we're going to have an app shortly. That's coming out of beta shortly. It's not public. People like you just mentioned, Cliff, yourself, other people who are really engaged with the river can just download the app on the phone. And when you catch tag fish, use the app to report and use the app to look up this information. And this is all just a bunch of volunteer guys,
that are good
across
back in development,
across age groups and generations, and assisted by STEM students out of high school who are getting academic credit for doing a lot of this stuff. The STEM thing, we haven't talked about much. We took them all out on the river, Clark, remember? Mm-hmm. And only a couple of them have ever even fished. And it was just fun to run them up from Pointer Rocks, and we had lunch and hand them a rod with a Ned rig on it, or just straight up Texas rig rubber worm, and let them fish and go, this is what this is about. And they're like, oh, this is fun.
So, Scott, I'll ask you first and I'll ask Clark, what is the most important water condition to read in your opinion?
The most important one, I'm going to say level because it goes to boat launching, but it's not. It's got to be all three. It's got to be temperature, turbidity, and level. It does. I just can't function without all three.
Clark?
To me, it comes down to, and water level and turbidity are highly correlated, on a rise, and then you'll notice after the rise is kind of over, the turbidity will drop a lot quicker than the water level. So like you can have a 5-foot river on the Point of Rocks gauge that's like at 50 turbidity, which is like pretty muddy water, or you can have a 5-foot river that's at like 20, depending on the timing of when the river rose and everything. But yeah, I'd say definitely turbidity is the biggest one. You know, I kind of want that green looking color, which is like,
or chalky.
Yeah, it's like 15 or something like that. Sub 20 fishing is probably going to be good. You know, once you get up above that, you know, 30, around 30, you can still get a pretty good bite going. You get up to 40 and 50 and it can get kind of a good bit tougher. But yeah, I'd say turbidity is definitely the top one I've been looking at in the last year. I actually didn't know it was a measurement that they had public until Mike showed it to me. I always you can do real well just going off river level too, though. You kind of notice which ones you like the best. For me, it's about 5. I really like a 5-foot river.
And where are these gauges located? Are you talking, is this the main, I call it the main stem of the Upper Potomac, like from Confluence down, or is this all the way up towards where I'm at the ass end of the world?
No, we got Hancock, Shepherdstown, Harpers Ferry.
Cool.
They go in order downstream. So
look at
I don't Hancock's there, but I don't think there's a gauge at Williamsport. And it goes all the way down to Little Falls. Little Falls is a good indicator closer to the DMV just because it's closer to the DMV, but it also, you know, it's the totality of the river once it's done and ready to spit itself out. And it correlates, you know, once you get below Monocacy, you know, what do you got? You got Edwards and then you got Little Falls. It's wild how the river mixes, you know, below Shenandoah and then again below Monocacy and also Goose Creek. But, you know, there are a lot of times we'll fish and the water is stained on one side and not the other. You've experienced that, I'm sure.
Is the Monocacy the second biggest, right? That dumps water into the Potomac?
I don't know. You got Cacapon, you got South Branch, Cacapon, Shenandoah.
Shenandoah's number 1, I think.
Yeah, I don't know.
Could be wrong.
I don't know.
Yeah, Shenandoah's got to be number 1.
Yeah,
it's like equal size to the Potomac where the two meet. I mean,
yeah, like, but I'm just because when you mentioned Goose Creek, I was like, how much volume actually comes out of Goose Creek?
We run boats up there. It's yeah. You run out of water fast in Goose Creek in the summer.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I can't.
Well, you run out of water. I mean, Monocacy too. Like, you know, it's been really low. Like this summer, I could run it up to the Frederick Poopy plant. You know, even over that old rock dam at forget the road there. Monocacy people don't know. You get boats up there with enough water.
I know people that have run it all the way up to the dam and plus.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've had friends that try to like hop skip it over the Conica jig, which we talked about off air, which is impressive depending on how high that water is.
Hop skip the roller dam on a Conica jig?
They put a winch on the front of their boat. They're muskie anglers, and they put a winch, and they would come up over the dam, hook it to a tree, and try to drag the boat over top. There are muskie on the other side of that dam. I know I'm probably gonna get death threats now, but I've been wade fishing before, and you see a log, and it's a muskie up above the dam. So
well, that's funny you mentioned that. A lot of these mud boat guys, like I run a surface drive mud motor on one of my boats as well. Enjoy that. Fish for snakeheads down at mouth of Gunpowder on this side of the bay, and you know, I'll take a trip down to Blackwater every now and then. And the winch guys are these sort of duck boat, mud boat guys, you know, Texas, and yeah, man, we run up in the mud, got to get out, got a winch, right? But I'm on a Potomac last summer, and I run into these guys in a nice flat bottom jet, you know, like your Rhino, Clark, and this guy was running, you know what the drought was like, right? This guy's running really skinny water, and he had a winch on the front of his boat, and he starts telling me, "Oh yeah, I'm not afraid to run down here because you know I got 100 feet of cable or whatever much he had. I don't remember what he told me, but he'll literally, you know, he'll hang up on a gravel bar and hook his winch up to a log or a tree and drag his ass up." And it was a nice boat. It was like an all-weld, 18-footer with a, 400 pound motor on the back, and he was running, and I mean like that, but he was running without fear because he had his winch.
They call that the backup plan.
That is the backup plan. Good Lord.
God, I can't even run. We run so shallow all summer. I never even put the electric motor. And I'm on oars all the time because I don't have a wide bodied aluminum boat. Right. I run this guide skiff called a towee. So I'm on oars. Right. And, so you're drift boating, basically get real shallow. And it's a relatively light boat compared to a regular jet setup like most guys run. So if you do hang up, you can literally get out of the boat and drag it like a kayak. It's much heavier than a kayak, but same idea. I forget where I was going with that, but
do you have a polling platform? Because I always thought that would be such a cool concept on a smallie boat, is to have that polling platform so you can get up higher and look down into the water.
They make those boats. I've seen them at Point of Rocks where you can get up on top. Yeah, they make them. They put like, what is it? Hog Island. I think Hog Island.
Yeah, there's a guy runs a Hog Island jet, and he set it up as a stick steer up front. Yeah, Hog Island's a plastic boat, but it's real heavy, and I haven't ridden in the thing, so I can't pass a judgment on the boat. But it's taken its knocks on the blogs and whatnot. I run a boat called a towee. Most people think I'm insane because it's a glass boat, but listen, the reality is out west, these trout guys run heavy whitewater in glass boats all the time. They drag on the bottom. It's not like running a glass-drawn bass boat. It's a drift boat. They're designed to take hits. But like I said, most people I meet at the ramp think I'm pretty much need to be in a state hospital. But in the Southeast, these towies, they have the polling platform. And a lot of guys, Tennessee, Georgia, they also have access to salt water like we do here in the Bay. And so they'll run upland rivers, fish for muskies, and then they haul those boats down to South Carolina and run the marshes. And a lot of those guys do have polling platforms. There it is, polling platforms on the boats. But Clark, you got a pole, man, to get yourself off those rocks. Remember this summer?
That's my backup plan. Yep.
He got a big ass pole with looks like an athletic sock on the end to grab the bottom.
It's a big long. It's like I think it's like 18 foot long. I don't even know. I came with the boat. It's a 18 foot long, just wooden rod, and I'll just stick it up on stuff and push off. If I get hung up, or
that thing's narrow. Damn.
Or we have to get up and get out and pick it up and whatever else. I've donated a number of phones to the river, trying to get my.
I feel that.
Dude, Mike. We've talked about Mike a couple times, but I have like the cheapest iPhone, like the oldest one you can. Typically, in the past I have because of that reason. I put them in the water. Yeah,
dude, we've all been there.
Not to spot burn, and I'm not going to tell you where it is, but he's got a hole on the river called Pixel Hole because it's got a couple Google phones in the bottom of it. Because Mike is a drift fisher largely he's got a jet boat, but he really loves running a raft. And as a result, he's a really social guy. He invites a lot of people because rafts run best with more than, two guys, or gals. So, anyway, Mike's in a raft a lot. And so they just are, flick of the wrist, and you're in these little itty bitty places that a big jet can't go. My boat, iffy. Kayak, yes. Really tight little water. And, this is guide level knowledge that Clark and Mike and these guys have that get in these places. But one of them is called Pixel Hole. Because of the missing phones that are in the bottom of it, people leaning over to grab a fish and clunk. I've lost my share.
You guys have been here in the area for a long time. What have you seen change wise on the river? I don't like to. Well, we end up being hyperbolic of like this is the best it's ever been, and like where do you think the river is now in its stage? Is the fishing going up, going down? What do you think?
Let's do old guy, young guy. Clark, young guy first.
You want me first? Okay,
yeah, you're a young guy.
All right, I started fishing when I was like 3 years old. But
it all started when I was born.
We're throwing way back tonight. No, yeah, when I was a kid, I was probably like, I think my dad got me my first kayak when I was like 11 or 12. So that's probably when we started getting on the river the most frequently. And it was like one of those deals where you could go out and catch 30, 40, 50 fish in a 6-hour trip, and they'd all be like 9 to 14 inches, and your big fish of the day would be like a 15 or a 16. And I was younger and didn't have the same level of experience at the time. So it's hard to say if, maybe I just wasn't targeting larger fish, and I do now. But that was then. And then now, post college, I've been out of college for like 4 years now. We've been catching a lot more big fish, like, 3, 4, up to 5 pounds. And you can expect to go out and catch like 2 or 3 that are 3 to 4 pounds on a given day, in like 5 or 6 hours. Or at least that's kind of the goal now. That's kind of what I got in my mind when I go on the water. So I'd say as far as fishing goes from then to now, like through the years, we're catching fewer fish, but we're catching bigger fish. So that's just kind of what I've seen. What you got?
I totally agree with that. Last 7 to 10 years. Exactly as Clark says, I remember those times you're on the river. It's, you're fishing with like beetle spins because that's what they bid on. And you're beetle spins and you're catching dinks, but 100 dinks. It was like all day long. It was super fun. Lots and lots and lots of dinks. And it was very rare to turn up a fish over 14, 16 in those days. And that started, I feel like it started changing 10, 12 years ago to where Clark is now. I started fishing the river when I was 10, 11, 12 years old. I grew up in Northern Virginia suburbs as a kid. So we're talking like 1970, 4, 5, 6. The river was way dirtier. I remember it clearly. And at that time, it was all catfish all the time. I just love, I'm a kid, right? Yeah. Go down there with worms and mouth a difficult run, stuff like that. That was back in the day when your parents would let you go. You're like 12, not even
world, man.
Yeah, my folks would like I could. My mom would either drive me down there and dump me off and like pat me on the fanny and no phones, no nothing. You got to be back here at 5 o'clock so I can pick you up. They have no idea where you are. You walk down Scott's Run or Difficult Run when I was a kid on the Northern Virginia side and light fires and, eat bologna sandwiches and catch catfish. Oh my God, it was great. But the river was filthy, and there's still a lot of debris in the river. Any flood brings every little dock and most people who are on a river know, up the Potomac, West Virginia side, particularly up the Shenandoah, Conococheague, and a lot of Monocacy have lots of stuff on the bank. But especially on the Shenandoah and the Potomac, there are lots of little docks, lots of little screen houses, mobile homes, campers, and all of those campsites come with mountains of crap. So every flood that comes through rips out the dock, and you're down at you're down on the canal, kind of around let's say Riley's or whatever, and all the stroller pusher moms are out there, and they're shocked at the chemical barrels in the river. The islands are covered with blue barrels. Well, the blue barrels are the remnants of whoever in West Virginia just got his dock torn out by the last flood. And I deer hunt and turkey hunt most of these islands that are public access, available to do so. And you get off and get in the woods. It's thick woods, but you won't believe the stuff that's up there. Like every guy who had a refrigerator in his little screen house and his little waterfront property and outside Martinsburg, all those refrigerators are down on those islands because the floods wash them down.
It sounds like you're looking for
say what?
He's shopping.
It sounds like you're looking for river treasures.
Oh, well, dude, I keep blue barrel. I harvest a few blue barrels, turn them into like trash cans, compost bins.
Smart.
We have
stuff like that, but they're kind of endless. They're way like some of these islands, some of the big islands that you deer hunt on. it takes a whopper flood, like a 1993 kind of flood, but it'll bring that stuff way up on high elevations. You'll find stuff like that. But my point is that biologically, compared to when I was a kid in the 70s, the river is just, the industrial discharges, Cumberland and Luke and Shenandoah Valley, that stuff the river was really impacted, and you knew it, and the sewage overflows and all the rest of it, the cow shit, all of it. The river was really filthy back then, and it is demonstrably cleaner now.
Is there a deer population on those islands? That's fascinating.
Oh my God. Oh, haven't you? Well, yeah, you're fishing mostly a little farther upstream. On a summer morning in August, it's dawn. The deer are just walking across the river like they're on the Beltway.
Well, you're closer to Loudoun County, right? Because up here on the West Virginia side, there's like 4 deer left. I mean, let's just be real.
No, the islands are covered with deer. Those of us who turkey hunt, the funny thing is the turkeys roost on the islands at night. And you think they're covered with turkeys, and then you're out there turkey hunting, and they all go off the roost in the morning. And where do they go? They go over the farm fields over in Montgomery County or Virginia, and you're sitting there with your turkey call going, and they're all over in Virginia. So I mean, there are tons of turkeys out there, but they're just roosting on the islands at night. And anybody who turkey hunts will listen to this will know that I'm full of it, but because there are turkeys on the islands, but there are plenty of deer out there, and they swim and move from island to island, no problem. And in the summer, it's really wild, like upstream of 1 year, big weed year, heavy, that beautiful eelgrass kind of weed, and I don't know what it's called, upstream between Lander and Pointer Rocks. A lot of people camp up there, including me, and I was on one of those islands with a buddy, and we're watching these deer in the river dunking down, sticking their heads completely underwater and coming up with these big wads of grass and just eating like they were grazing, which was a behavior I didn't know they did and never seen before. It kind of made me think about a moose up in Canada somewhere.
Well, Scott, they have a name for those. Those are called West Virginia river dolphins. It's a rare.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep, that's what you were seeing out there that day. That wasn't
really. Yeah, right.
You mentioned dolphins. I remember as a kid fishing there. There used to be a ton of river otters we'd see around White's Ferry down below. I haven't seen one in forever.
They're pretty rare, but they're around for sure. I can't think of. Oh man, it's so unfortunate. I found a dead one last winter along the Gunpowder, which is up near I live up closer to Baltimore, and still love the Potomac, but this bird flu goes around with heavy concentrations of migratory wildfowl. And last winter, when they group up once there's ice on the river, they group up where there's open water. And I found a dead otter and spoke with DNR about it. Certainly not conclusive, but it was highly probable that this otter got that bird flu because it was jumping species last year. Anyway, we got off track, didn't we? Sorry.
No, that's the point of this.
It's a fishing podcast, not an otter podcast.
It's a conversation podcast because the gunpowder is fascinating, especially like the brown trout. It's fascinating that you have a brown trout fishery there, but then to get to it, you might get shot by the Bloods and Crips because it's in that part of town. It's just such a fascinating,
Thomas, come on,
fascinating thing.
Unfair hit on Baltimore completely.
I married Baltimore, so I can dish it out to them. It's fine. Anyway. That's another show because that's cool.
Another show. But listen, Gunpowder, incredible trout fishery because of the cold release from Pretty Boy Dam, and you get down in that canyon below Pretty Boy, and this is Upper Baltimore County. It's like you're out west. It's incredibly high quality river, beautiful resource, and then down
near Baltimore,
and then down closer to the bay, right, Joppatown, border Hartford County, Baltimore County. It's Snakehead Wonderland. It looks like the American Serengeti. What you're up in those marshes.
That's wild.
Running a mud boat, the sun's either coming up or going down, ducks flying everywhere. And it's in between Aberdeen and the city. It's just beautiful place.
Unless you know about it, you like, I'm going to say the obvious, unless you know about it, you don't know about it, that you have such a natural resource in a beautiful area nestled in Baltimore. It's the same thing when people say like you bass fished, the upper Potomac, near Loudoun County, DC. It's it's such a different world once you get out on the water and you don't realize, or you disassociate, this is next to some of the richest places in the world.
Well, there's nothing like fishing, you float downstream from Pennyfield and, you're underneath Dan Snyder's mansion. And, you do, you look up and you're like, oh my God. And you feel like, it really is a striking, unbelievable resource. I think a lot of people in the world don't even know the Great Falls exists. Mm-hmm. In a normal place on this planet, it would have like revolving restaurants and a giant parking lot and a theme park around it. It's this beautiful, beautiful place. It's really incredible. The river itself is a greenway, thanks to the C&O Canal National Historic Park, that literally goes, all the way to the Fairfax Stone, up in the Potomac Highlands. It's an incredible place, and you're on the river. Let's say you launch, and one side is you can see high rises in Loudoun County, but there's still ducks flying everywhere, and there's lots of people with boats. God love us all to get out on the river. It gets heavily used, but it still feels like such a special, incredible place.
Something I wanted to bring up, because I have you on the show here, and hopefully maybe you covered this. The Loudoun County issue, I don't think I'm nuking a spot because I'm not talking about fishing, but just the White's Ferry debacle with how they shut down the ferry. Do you think they'll ever convert can the Virginia side be used to launch boats ever? It's a nice boat ramp still. Like, can it get any use on that side at all, or is it just never going to happen?
I can't speak for it. I don't know. I did report on it. In fact, one of the reports I did, I put a GoPro on my kayak and launched at White's and, paddled the 4 minutes across, and then did the math that if I was commuting and used my kayak compared to driving in a car, total TV news shtick. But, both sides of the river, the local governments on both sides of the river want that thing open. Yeah. Mark Elrich in Montgomery County, I know, has put a bunch of effort and time into it. I wish I could speak to the accurate status of where it is right now. The other side is privately owned. I have never heard of, nor do I think anybody wants, the owners on the other side want a public feature over there. They want to,
wild.
I don't want to speak for them. I haven't spoken to anybody in this controversy for going on 2 years. But it's sad that the ferry is still kind of sitting there, and it's a cool thing. It's a version of that ferry has been there since 1780 something.
It needs to have another story done on it, because it's just a fascinating situation where, and people talk about they need a bridge or whatever. It's more of like the mindset. I would love, if you guys are listening to it that own that property, I would love to get you on the show just to kind of get your heads at, like, why? What do you genuinely believe about shutting that down? I don't know, just fascinating. Because I remember as a kid, because we grew up in Purcellville, we would take our boat across White's Ferry and launch on Maryland side. That's what we did growing up. It was the closest ramp we thought at the time. And so it's such a cultural impact that that's shut down, and how that changes not only the flow of traffic, but where people can go to fish. And it's a beautiful also shop, guys. If you want to go give them business right now, the shop on the Maryland side, because it's a beautiful full little shop there, and a nice little boat ramp.
Yeah, it's fun. Go launch your boat there, run in, get a sandwich, and all the bikers, a lot of cyclists go in there, but it's a shadow of what it used to be because the ferry's not running. But, to be fair, on both sides of the river, like, it's a privately operated concern. The other side, the landing is privately owned. And the dispute was about whether or not the ferry operators were, posting up the money required to use that landing. That's a completely fair debate for property owners to have with each other. Unfortunately, it crosses over because it's a de facto public resource, even though it's privately owned. And I don't know where the owners of Rockland Farm, and I don't know where they are on it. Loudoun County got pretty deep into it, we don't know what the motivations are, and to be fair about what exactly it's about.
What's the favorite story in your career that you take the most pride in, that you covered?
Oh man, there have been so many. I remember going to Haiti after the earthquake. with a bunch of folks from, Bethesda Naval Center. Went down there largely by myself, kind of operating as a one-man band because that's the way sort of modern media was doing things, and seeing.
So they just sent you to a third world country and said best of luck?
I got to go as a guest of the Navy, sort of.
Okay.
I mean, I got to sleep on the hospital ship in a bunk, but I would deadhead, and it was cool because I would deadhead over in a chopper. But
wow.
once you're on the ground on the other side, all bets were off,
Oh my gosh.
But it was incredible to see, it was just such a dramatic moment because of what it was.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure I'm most proud of it, but it just is the first thing that popped into my memory. I mean,
Core memory kind of thing.
Head. And the thing, people were, lots and lots and lots of dead people, and lots of people from around the world trying to assist and set up these field hospitals. I mean, I literally saw people having their legs amputated on picnic tables. It was just like, it's just hard to fathom all that. And I remember I actually ended up getting over big fat goofy guy from DC, and it's like 100 degrees down there, and it was December, so I went from really cold to really hot, and I kind of was falling out one day, and there was no guarantee I was getting back on a helicopter because they're taking casualties back, and so I'm hanging around where they're doing that, and I saw this child. It was clearly a young person, young girl getting loaded on a chopper. At about the same time, I was falling out, and a young medical Navy corpsman came up and said, "Hey, sir, you're not looking so good. Could I take your vital signs, please?" And they took my pulse, and they put me on a helicopter too, and I'm back. Anyway, the point of the story was this little girl had lost her entire family, been dug up after 7 or 10 days under rubble with a crushed leg, and it was the pediatric part of that mission was a bunch of people from Bethesda. And there was a school in Bethesda that was involved and sent teddy bears and stuff. It's a natural TV news story, right? So I went down in the pediatric bay looking for this girl. And I found this probably 20 or 21-year-old corpsman, right? Medical corpsman in the Navy. And he happened to be Haitian. He was from, Haitian American. He was from Brooklyn, New York. So he could speak Creole. And whoever was in charge is like, "All right, son, you're down there. Take care of those kids." Whatever the Navy did. And I couldn't believe the compassion this young adult had. He was the only thing some of these kids had. And it was just great. I'm like getting all misty thinking about it because it was personal, it was human, and it was an example of beautiful things individual people can do. And you got me off on a tangent, man. But
yeah, keep going.
Those are the kind of stories I get assigned to a lot.
So you weren't local necessarily. Well, you were local,
no,
but
I was
also
local. I was sort of the Maryland guy for
that went to Haiti,
9, right? So I'd be in Prince George's or Montgomery pretty much on any given day on whatever story. Sometimes it was a trial, sometimes it was crime, sometimes it was the heroic dog who found his way home from a truck stop in Alaska. Whatever. TV news, right? It was a cool life, man. Real fun.
That's so cool. Like you want to. It's almost like watching one of those old westerns when you watch something like that with the old school news media of you're a beat person. You go out there. It just feels like with technology and ChatGPT and AI, it's like, are we losing that?
Yeah, you are in some ways. But listen, citizen journalism. So we started our conversation talking about citizen science. But in the world of AI, where images and reality can be manipulated, it's still like really, really, really important that there are people out there capturing the reality that they see, and contributing that. And professional media, whether you love them, you hate them, they're whatever. There's lots of faults in professional media, but information and real information is just think about just basic stuff like the weather. It's critically important. I don't want to overstate it, but it is. Like, okay, for instance, I'm down at Katrina, okay? And it's like this horrible disaster, and there were literally dead people up in the attics of houses where I was, and it was just bad. And I was in this place called St. Bernard Parish, and nobody gotten in there yet, and the Maryland National Guard had been assigned, and I was attached to them to show what Maryland people were doing because of the local TV station. So I'm down there, and it was an emotional day. A lot of things happened, and we showed what was going on. So we're the media guys, and we're coming out, flooded streets up to the axles on a tractor trailer, and here's this guy in a tractor trailer, like with plates from Iowa or Nebraska or someplace, and he's kind of doesn't know where to go. There was no law, no National Guard, no police. He didn't know where to go, and he had a truckload of relief supplies that like the church in his town had, And he asked me, where do I go? What do I see? And I said, well, the National Guard guys are another mile down the road, and I think you can get the truck through there. I'm not sure. We got out. And thanks very much. He climbs up, and I go, hey, listen, man, you're a story. I just like you just asked me, what's your story? And he was like, you media people are all that. He gave me the media hater thing and kind of throw a couple cuss words at me. And it was like an emotional day already. And, you take that all day long, my whole career, it's fine. Media is controversial. And I always just walk away. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'll talk to you later. And that day I was just like, not today, man. And I just looked at him. I said, how the heck did you know to come down here? Did somebody send you a postcard or call you on a payphone? No, dude, you saw this on TV. Your community saw this on TV and read about it in the newspaper. That's why you're here. That's what I do. And, I probably shouldn't have taken him on like that. But that's why media is important, just for basic stuff. You wouldn't know otherwise about lots of stuff. And it builds it, even in this day and age, and the media you do, it's building a community, right? There are people, either some of your viewers or maybe Charles County, they fish for bass down there, don't know much about the upper Potomac, don't know much about crappie at Lake Anna, may not ever get there otherwise, but they know all about it now because you're creating your media. And it's building a community, and big media did that too to some extent. So
and just having long form conversations. I had a person from, I think it was Oregon, that emailed me the other week and said hey, your coverage of the Potomac spill, it's the first time we had somebody just talk for 30 minutes about the situation. No sound bites, no headlines. You just worked through a timeline, and that was really cool. And it's that's the one thing I think this has helped this medium is you can just talk about it. There's no time limit. If it takes you a little bit longer, right, that's fine. But that way the facts get out there about whatever you want, whatever you want to say.
You're a citizen journalist, essentially. You've got sponsorships, you're building a nice channel, all the rest of it. Some of those things are going to come into play. But the reality is your guys into this stuff and want people to know about it, want to share it. And, it's really, really important in the world we live in right now. I'm deeply concerned about AI. I've been duped by AI numerous times. Manipulating people's sense of reality and the gravity of some of the subjects we're dealing with in this world. Real information really does matter, and it really does matter when you see something to check it before you share it. Just I know you might hate the New York Times or whatever, but and sure, media sources have agendas, but the individual facts they report, believe me, they're checked out. I mean, if I misspelled a dude's name and did it 3 times a year, I'm subject to being fired. I mean, we took accuracy within the story we're assigned so seriously, down to spelling names right. So
yeah. It's now critical thinking is more important. Back when you had the gatekeepers of 3 or 4 big media, now everyone has information, and there's pros and cons to that. The biggest thing is you just have to have critical thinking skills of double checking the information and looking into it a little bit more. Now, whether that's right, wrong, or indifferent, that's above my pay grade, but that's kind of where we're at right now with AI and everything, man. It's crazy. Clark, what do you think about this? Or you want to talk about smallmouth fishing?
Oh, I'm just talking about media and whatnot.
Shoot, dude. No, I love going down rabbit holes, man. You find out what people are really passionate about when you sit down and have to talk to them for a while. It's easy for people to BS 5 minutes. It's hard to do that for an
you
hour
know,
plus.
Hey, Thomas, you're exactly. When I retired, I was asked on the air briefly to reflect on it, and it was exactly what you just said. When would I have otherwise met you, right? And I just, countless stories since I started being a news reporter in 1980. Your job is to call up people, interview them. You don't become best friends because the next day there's another crisis, right? But it's real people, and I just remember countless times, whether it was the worst day in their lives or the best day in their lives, being able to talk to them and say, "Listen, I just really, really appreciated meeting you, and speaking with you. I don't know when I would have otherwise met you, and I just really appreciate it." And I really meant that, because it's a richness in the world to be able to talk to people like you do with this thing.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate it. Clark, any closing words here? Thoughts?
Report your tags.
Yeah, I guess just to close off, just send it in. Send in the information on the tagged fish. We're gonna get you guys rewards going, and that's what I have to finish off for today.
Awesome stuff.
There's a tag.
Tags right there, guys. As always, link in the episode description to everything that we talked about here, and email is going to be there, fishingthedmv@gmail.com. If you got any questions for me, please reach out, message me, or message these fine gentlemen as well. If you want to, go check out me on Patreon. Since I'm in between jobs, if it wasn't for Patreon, I'd be behind a Walmart dumpster doing unspeakable things to pay my mortgage. So I thank and appreciate all of you, and we'll see you guys next time on Fishing the DMV. Bye.
You're listening to Fishing the DMV with your host, Thomas Ahrens. Fishing the DMV is brought to you by Jake's Bait and Tackle, located in Winchester, Virginia, Tactical Fishing Company, and Fishing ProTech, located just outside Williamsburg, Virginia.
If that doesn't get you jacked up, I don't know what will.